Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome, Max. Thank you so much for having me. I love Kettle Space. I've been following a lot of the events, and it's been a blessing in this time. So I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to share what I'm super passionate about too, because a lot of people have been coming to me and asking me questions about groups, and there's so much to it. And so this way, this 4-part series will really answer a lot of questions to really make you be able to start your group, or if you have one, grow your group. If you're not sure if you should have one or not, it'll answer all these questions. So hang on with me, be ready to take notes. We'll have some exercises so it can really directly apply to your business. Quickly, before I start with the slides and the visuals and everything about groups, a little bit of background about myself. Like Max said, I come from a background as a musician. So originally I fell into community building. I love networking. I love putting people together when I see people can work together or connect in some ways. And the community building came as a direct result from my background as a musician because I had a friend who had a small group that wasn't active at all 12 years ago. And he said, listen, nothing's going on here. I don't want it anymore, but do you want to take it over? And I took it over with the idea that maybe one day I'd move to New York City and it would help me to network with musicians. And so over years, at the time, it took a long time to grow it. Nobody talked on it. That's how I first found my own way around community building. It grew into an 8,000 member group. It's a very small niche. And we did a lot of educational services for it that members wanted. And that's how I realized it really was helpful for business and, finding services that you can give for people that need them. That's really helpful. Since then, I've built many other groups. My current one I started just over a year ago. It's for handy women that do their own handiwork. It's at over 14,000 members in just over a year. I also do WhatsApp groups when I'm local. That's really helpful for anyone in here. We'll do another training for anyone who's in real estate or coaches, stuff like that. So different groups for different purposes, but here we're focusing on Facebook groups. So that's for my background. And now let's get started talking about you guys. So I'm gonna do presenting slide. Let me do a screen share. And if you have questions as we go, the last of the 4 series will be all about questions. So mark them down. We'll also have a Q&A at the end. So definitely mark them in the chat. Mac will keep track of them. Ask them at the end. Ask them if you didn't get an answer today at the end of the 4-part series. We want to make sure we answer everything, whether it's super large question or super detailed about your business. So let me get started. Can you guys all see this well? Can you let me know in the chat? Is this good, Mac? Can you tell me? Can you guys all see the slides? Good. Great, thank you guys. So grow your sales with Facebook group. If you guys have any question, I do free consulting calls. So feel free to email me at this email address or Instagram. So let's get started. Why you should have a group and what groups can be used for. So groups, depending on your business, can be used in many different ways. So one is brand awareness. If you have a product, build community centered around your product. So some people will have, say there's a grill, that's a famous grill. I forgot what it's called, like Brookstone or something like that. And there's 20,000 people that use that grill that are in a group talking about what kind of things they do with that grill. But the name of the group is literally the grill itself. So that's for brand awareness. Market research, that's really helpful because you have people already interested in the topic you're offering. So for example, cooking, and you can do market research by asking in your groups for polls and things like that. Like, hey, what are you guys? What's something you wish you had that you don't? Or what is, you can also see who is in your group. What are people that have special needs that you can offer them? So you can do many polls. So over time, you really gather a lot of information. You can test different product ideas or different services if you are not selling products. For sales, it's fantastic because you can do in membership requests, and I'll go in detail through that. But for sales, you can either sell directly in the group or like a lot of people do by building an email list through the group. And then by emailing those people that are not just like your regular email list, because these are people that are always aware of what you're doing, who you are, or what your brand is. So the return on investment and the kind of open rate is much stronger actually through Facebook groups. So that's really helpful. Establishing authority, if you're selling services, you're a coach, that's really helpful. It's a direct line to customers. I talk with a lot of Amazon sellers. You know how Amazon FBA does not let you have access to your client's information. So this is a great way to go around that. You can say, hey, join this Facebook group for free. And when they join, in that part of the process, you ask them for their email address. And even if you don't ask for their email address, just having the group, you have a direct access to your actual clients. That's helpful. And then long-lasting relationships, groups last for years and years. So longevity is great. and organic reach. So you can get to more people that wouldn't know about your product just because then the referral process is set up and all of that. So those are a few reasons of why having groups is really helpful. Depending on what you need, it probably can do that. So that's for that. Let's look at the next thing. So groups can be centered around your brand name, your audience, what it does, and the product. Now tell me if I'm going too fast. Tell me if I'm going too fast in the chat, or if you have questions right now that you can't wait until the end. So where was it? Here we go. Brand name, audience, what it does, the product. What I used as an example, just because it came to my mind, was Olay. So if my brand happened to be Olay, for example, I could call my group Olay, or I could call it about the audience. So women who care about their skin or their facial skin, you know, what it does. So the group could be called group that helps your skin be its best, or the product, and that would be skincare. We are a group for skincare in general. So depending on your business and what you do, either of those are good. We're going to have an exercise on finding the title for your group. And if you keep in mind and play around in your brainstorming through those 4 things, you're going to find the right title for your group. And that's very, very important. So again, the brand name is very helpful for brands that are already known, because what you want to do is make sure that when people search for you, they can find you. So if I'm going to search skincare and I've never heard of Olay and they come up, I'm not going to want to join that group. But because Olay is so famous, then maybe we're going to join because actually I want to know about promotions and about things like that they're running. So that depends. For brand name, is your product already known as a brand? Or if you have a big marketing budget, you know, if you have investors and they want to spend this amount on marketing, then you can do that. Your audience, this is great. That's very easy for people to find. I'm going to look for, you know, female entrepreneurs. You know, those groups are always massive. They're like 200K. The audience, you know, you're with people like you. What it does is also good, particularly if you're trying to do for products or services, if you have one thing. So if you sell one service or one product, that's good. If you actually are looking at maybe expanding down the line, I wouldn't recommend this. If you're looking at, if you have different services, so say you're a coach and you do, you know, coaching for resume building, and you do coaching for, you know, business coaching, different services, you may want to focus more on the audience. And finally, the product, that's for existing products that already have a proven audience looking for the product, and rather than newly designed products. So if you're an inventor and you came up with a new product, focus on the audience for the product, or focus on what it does, but don't call it what it is yet, because nobody knows it. I hope that, does that make sense? If you guys want to tell me in the chat. Good so far, everyone?
Yeah, maybe let's pause briefly. I have a lot to cover, but just to give people a chance. Anyone have any questions? Because Geraldine has got a lot to cover. Okay, I think we're good.
Love it. And if you do have questions that come up as we go, feel free to write them down, because we'll have a Q&A at the end. Excellent. So next thing, before you start, if you don't have a group yet, you can't, or if you're debating if you should have a group or not, you want to ask yourself, what's the goal with your group? Like, what would make it successful for you? And it's not always a money amount. It can genuinely be like, I have this community that now I can test things on, or it can be, you know, just a nice space for people to be in that connect around your product, and you're just giving them that space, and that's valuable in and of itself. You can run promotions and giveaways. So a lot of people want to use it for that, you know, particularly with, again, Amazon FBA people. They can have lots of reviews right away of new products just from doing promotions and giveaways. So that's a really helpful way to kind of control that. Run surveys and market research, like I mentioned. Build the email list is truly such a quick way. You'll have maybe, you know, 40% of or 30% of people coming into the group that will share their emails. Some groups require an email. I personally feel like that's a bit strict, but that's on everybody's preference and their own strategy. But building is really helpful, because all those people are always warm and hot leads, always. They're not cold. So that's so helpful. And finally, just create a community with word of mouth, because if you create a really good community, it's not just a group, it's an actual entity of people that connect together. And that community feeling is my favorite part about it. but then people want to share about it because they want to bring more people like them to it. And just that has an effect that grows around what you offer for services or products. So ask yourself, even right now, take 30 seconds, I'll give you 30 seconds to just write down, if I had a group or the group I'm thinking of doing, what am I hoping to use it for? Of all those things I mentioned, what is it I would want to do with it? What is my ultimate goal? Do I want to grow my sales solely? Do I want to create a community around what I do? Do I want to run surveys? Do I really want to just use it for email lists so I can email people about what I do? Kind of take a minute. And if it's many of them, you can. And if there are things you have in mind that I didn't mention, feel free to write them in and ask me later about those. And you're like, oh, I was kind of hoping of using it like this. Can I do that? Make sure you write that down so I can answer that question later. So now that we know why Facebook groups are good, the other thing to know I didn't mention actually is that in 2018, Facebook changed its algorithm so that instead of just having profiles be in the timeline, it included a lot of the content of groups. And so that's why since for the past couple of years, when you go into your timeline, you see a lot of posts from the groups you follow. So it makes the groups really centerpiece of the experience on Facebook. So if you have a group and people will always see kind of what's going on with it. You've got like the amount is something like 5.8 billion people on Facebook, probably 1.8, not 5. I'm not good at numbers. Don't quote me on this one, but a lot of people. And yeah, Facebook is still very used. I know a lot of people are talking about it becoming this dated platform, but actually if you look at the numbers for 2020, yes, TikTok did go over it, but it is still the second most used platform. So it is far from being dated and something that people don't use. And still the largest amount of people that use it are under 40. So it's not just people who are 60 who don't know how to use it. It is still a young platform with young people in it. All right, so let's build it. You can write down this information, or you could plan it. If you're gonna plan to be here for the 4 series, start doing these things and putting them in place every week, because I'm gonna keep building on it. And then on the 4th time, you can show me your group, and then we can actually look at it, and I can give you free feedback because it's so fun. So let's start with the most important thing that people skip over or get stuck on, either way. The title is the very most important thing you can do for your group. That's how people are going to find you. That's how people are going to recommend you. It has to be clear. So that is the most important thing. A lot of other things are not as important. This is really crucial. So mistakes to avoid that I've seen people do: making it cute. People will want to think of a fun, clever way to say it, or maybe they'll just put their name but a little nickname, or they'll just kind of beat around the bush. No beating around the bush, because it makes it hard to be found in search. When you think of your title, the primary question is, if people were looking for this group and what it does, would they find it? What terms would they search? Would they find it if they clicked it? And if your cute name would not be something that would come up or that they would recognize as being what they're looking for, then maybe the cute name should be in the description, but not the main title. And making it not SEO friendly. If you're going to be, that's helpful because the Facebook algorithm will actually suggest groups to people who follow similar groups. So if you have a name that's very clear, Facebook will help you grow it just like that, just from a good name. So now that we know what to avoid, what should we do? So like I said, think like your customer would. What search name would they search for? What would they actually be like? Okay, I'm looking for this product, or I'm looking for this service. If you were a customer of your business and you wanted a Facebook group, what search term would you enter? And I would take a minute right now and write it down, because this will help you for the exercise. We're gonna do an exercise shortly about this. What are they looking for? And think through all the different names and the different search terms that they are going to go through, right? People will search 2-3 different search terms. Now you also have to think about referrals, because a lot of people refer Facebook groups. And so if people want to refer the group, is it easy enough of a name? There should be an M here. Is the name easy enough for them to remember it? And for the people that talk about it for the first time, to remember it too. So for example, like the group I mentioned, that's my newest group, is called Handy Women. People immediately, a lot of them will search for it, but when they refer it, you know what it's for, you know what it does, you know what it's about. So members remember the name, they refer it, people they say it to remember the name as well. It's like, oh, a Handy Women, I remember that. So that's kind of what we're aiming for, that ease. And then we've got research what comes up if you are looking as a customer for what you provide. Are there already, that's important, because once now you're looking for title, you need to know what other people are doing around you, people that are in the same niche, people that maybe have the similar business, people that have the interest and no business, right? They don't have a business, they just have a similar interest and they have a group about it. So are there already other groups that offer what you do? And if there are, what are they called? Right? Remember how at the beginning I went through 4 different ways to center your group around the brand name. I don't remember all by heart, but there's 4 different kinds. And so if you go through all of them, maybe they're called for one of them and not the others. So that's when you want to brainstorm back and forth. Can there be an easier name than theirs? Maybe their name is a little clunky. And also, how many members do they have? Sometimes a group has a really good name, but they have like 80 members. So ideally, you want there to be no similar group or a similar group with under 500 members, because then those groups are not they're not moving forward, they're not growing, nobody will join them. So you have space to do yours. So it's kind of important that you first go and look at what other group is around, so that when people put the search, they see your group amongst the other group and they know to go to yours through the title. So now we're gonna actually put that in practice. So there's 2 exercises that you're gonna have like a couple minutes, probably 4 minutes, to brainstorm with yourself, because I know I just threw a lot at you. So you can ask questions in the chats and I can type the answer back. I named them exercise A and B because there's no particular order of them. They kind of are tied together. One is spend a couple minutes looking at your competition on Facebook as a customer looking for what you offer. So go as if you just were looking for that and see what comes up. Take screenshots, see how many members are in it and what they're called. Make a list of those people. And the other one is come up with a few different name ideas for your group. And when you do that, so play with the size of the audience. So for example, for the grill, the group can be centered around grill, or it could be people who love to grill. And now that's bigger because it's not one single product. It's actually people who love to grill on anything, any product. So playing with the size of the audience like that, and play between what its focus is on brand, audience, the result, or the product, and write down the different name ideas. And if you have those name ideas, go in the search on Facebook and see if somebody else already created a group with that name idea or not. So we're gonna give you a couple minutes, ask me a question in the chat. And after that, I'm actually gonna ask you, some of you, to share what you came up with and what you discovered. So here we go, a couple minutes on this. If you're finding yourself getting stuck as you do this, you're like, I can't think of any other names, feel free to put them in the chat and maybe I can help like your actual business right now. And then if you're done and you're done with the brainstorming, let us know in the chat as well so we know when to move on. But I see you all thinking, which is great. Make sure you take notes and screenshots of the other groups as you go. Make sure you see their membership, how many people they have. I'm also answering a lot of questions in the chat right now that you guys were writing earlier. So feel free to go to there if you're done with the exercise. We'll probably go another minute and then I'm gonna ask a few of you to share with me if you got stuck or things you discovered or questions you have. All right, 30 seconds. So as you guys finish up, somebody already started having answers from this exercise. So I'm going to start answering this, and then you guys can soon come back. Her question, this is Suzanne. She says, my business group name reflects a combination of interests, music and real estate. What do you think of Grace Notes Make a Home? So Suzanne, do you actually want to speak up about this, and we can go a little bit back and forth? I can't hear you. Suzanne, Mac, can we get Suzanne on board?
Ooh, how about now?
Yeah, hi Suzanne.
So I'm a classical musician that is moving into the area of real estate.
Yeah.
And so I, thought it's important. My whole concept behind me is building neighborhoods. Friends, friends become neighbors, neighbors become community, that kind of things. Houses become homes. That's sort of my phrase, but does my title seem too cutesy to you?
So it is not the most, it's not super clear. If I see Grace Notes Make a Home, I'm like, what is it? Is Grace her name? Is my first thought.
Right.
And Notes and Make a Home. But again, that's why I said, who is it for? And so, you could target that you're going to be the real estate agent for musicians. And as a musician myself, what I think that would mean is that you will only sell or rent places that will not have any issues with me playing an instrument 8 hours a day. Be like, great, she's going to sell places that have the sound equipment. She's going to only sell houses that are far away from neighbors where I can have a rock band, which is a cool idea. But if that's not exactly what you do, because if that were it, I would call it real estate for musicians. And I think immediately we will all know it's about sound, and it's great.
So I suppose, I've just started, and I even wrote in a newsletter, I used Grace Notes to me is an ornamentation of life. So if you see my paragraph, it would go with it. But what you're saying, it doesn't.
So people will not look at your paragraph. When people will do a search like the exercise we just did, they will only look at the title.
Okay.
So you really want the title. So again, it's who is it for? If it's not for musicians, or maybe it's for artists, maybe you can use musician to make it bigger. So real estate for artists. So maybe now you're looking at selling, if you're in an area that's particularly artistic, such as, Woodstock or areas like that. Maybe that's what you're specializing in, that clientele. So then you can be like real estate for artists. And then you're tying in your background as a musician, but making it bigger because maybe you're selling places that have a studio for painters, that has a big yard for sculptors, that have, you know what I mean? So if you want to use it as a jumping point of like, I understand your needs because I've been one of you for a long time, and that's very helpful. Yeah. But if you just want to sell for everybody, then maybe the music doesn't need to be tied in. Maybe it's just part of your story, but down the line, not as the title of the group. Does that make sense?
Very good. Very good.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Let me go next. We have Leslie. Hey, Leslie. So she says, my company develops healing communication games. We would play the game together. What do you think of a group being called Heal Together? Heal stands for hope, empowerment, and love. Oh, that's cute. Can you join us, Leslie?
Yeah, I'm not looking so good right now, but okay.
Oh, look at you, beautiful. I love it. Hi, Leslie. I love what you, yeah, tell me.
So I have a company, Transformation Games, and I have all different games launched nationally. They're physical, so right now, obviously with the pandemic, but prison reentry, diversity and inclusion, that's used in over 1,000 colleges, and actually that's a virtual game now. Veteran reintegration, addiction, loss and remembrance, healthcare workers, emotional coronavirus, panic reduction, all kind of. So we'd get on, and each time everybody would play together the different communication games. So I searched mental health, and there's 30 million groups for mental health. So that's out. So I'm thinking there's nothing, there's healing together, but there's nothing healed together. So I thought that.
Yeah, I love the term healing, because that's really what you're offering. What happens when somebody said healing games together. When you're looking at healing, did you find also as many as in mental health?
I didn't just Google healing, I Googled heal.
Yeah, and I would go straight into Facebook. I wouldn't even Google, I would just go straight into Facebook for the
No,
search.
I did. I was,
great.
excuse me, not Googling. I was searching Facebook.
Great. Yeah, and this process, you guys, I give you 5 minutes, but it's totally unfair because when I do that for clients, it takes me about, I'll spend like an hour, like actually really going down and seeing all the different market research. So just so you know, it doesn't have to be an hour. If it's for my own groups, I'll spend maybe a half hour. But yeah, so for healing, I would look at it. I think you're close. I think you're warm. I think I need to know, like the part you said that was not in the title that I missed was the fact that it was healing, what it was healing and who it was healing. So in your title, some titles can be longer. I would almost think maybe in parentheses, put some of the examples you gave us. Addiction, I don't remember all the ones you had, but I would put, 3, 4 terms of what it's actually for. Because then for a minute I saw games, I was like, is it for children? But you said healing communication, so maybe it's for couples, therapy. So that was the question I had, which people will have if they go to it. So I think healing communication games is good, and put in parentheses more details of what it's for.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
I think that one, when you said the name of your company is actually a clear name. And so what you said, healing communication games, I think is a better term than just HEAL, stands for hope, empowerment, and love as a title. And healing games together that Max suggested would also be a great title. And you would also have to put in parentheses 3, 4 different areas that it heals.
Could I put in more than 4? Could I put in more than 4, or do you think?
I would put 3, 4, kind of see how it looks on the computer, and think of it as a visual. So if you put 4 and it makes one word in the second line, that doesn't look so good. So then put 5 or put 3. So at this point, whether it's 3 or 5 or 4, I would do it as a visual. Is it pleasant looking? And then in the description, you can have a lot more. This is for people who want to be healed from, and you can have like a list of 12. This is great. I'm excited for you. That's such a great mission you have. Let's take one last one on this, because we have more to cover with another exercise. So Ray is next. Hi, Ray.
Hi, hello from New York.
Hi. That's where I lived the past 8 years. So I love it. Centered on cybersecurity. Hallelujah. That's fantastic. Cybersecurity career coach. I love it. Is it for people who are looking at having careers in cybersecurity, or are you offering cybersecurity as a service?
More of like people who are going into the field. So I had worked with a marketer a couple of years ago, and the message is I help mid-career and junior executives enter the field of cybersecurity so they can have a more fulfilling career, higher earning potential, and better quality of life.
I love it. Well, first of all, we're going to get to banner, but that you should put in your banner when we're going to get to this. There were 5 similar groups, but not offering exactly what I offer. How about cybersecurity career coach? I mean, I really like it. I think we need, I think you can add what you're saying. Cybersecurity career coach for mid, and say who it's for.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, this is fantastic. That's perfect. It's so clear. Love it.
Yeah, because one of the things I originally came up with was I was expanding it too big. The audience was too big, and I just didn't want to be I didn't want to be too niche, but also I don't want to be too big. Are
you also looking at having people hire you as a cybersecurity expert besides the career coaching?
No, because I'm actually I'm starting a new position, so this is like more of my side gig rather than which could turn into full-time coaching. But
this is phenomenal. Then this is perfect. Then it's great. It will really get the right people to you. Fantastic. A few of you have questions. I'll answer them in the next exercise. I'll type the answers. So let me move on for now. Great job, you guys. You're really getting the hang of this. So let's talk about growth now that we have the title. That was the big part of it. So now here's some common mistakes people make that make a group doomed, and you've all seen it. That's a common mistake. People think I will create it and then people will join. That will never happen. It will never happen. Nobody will ever join your group because it has a good title and they like what the title says. They will not join on their own at the beginning. People will only join groups that already have a lot of members. So what do you do when you get started? We'll tell you. But other mistakes people make are telling people about it only once, like, hey, you guys should join my group. And then they're like, I got like 50 people, but that's it, nothing since. That's also normal. You need to tell them more than once. Not engaging people from the beginning. So thinking, oh, people joined, but then you don't do anything with them. So that will make the group kind of die right away. So when they join, you have to do something with them. And then thinking that it takes time for people to join at first. It does, it's exponential. So the longer you have your group and the more it grows, it's exponential. It's going to go quicker and quicker. So it does take some time at the beginning, but it's not on its own. It's going to take a lot of hand holding. Like think of, a child learning to walk. You got to kind of hold its hand at the beginning. That's kind of you with your group when it's first launched. It's a terrible analogy, but so what I came up with. So mistakes to avoid are these. What is important? The two important things, and you have to be ready for it when you launch, is one, get as many people in as soon as possible. And by that, I mean, get 50 people in on the first day. I say 50, it can be 30, it can be 100. It's probably not going to be 100, let's face it, but get in as many people in as you can at the very, very beginning, and do that until, that's my magic number, until you have 500 members. Until you have 500 members, your group has not taken roots. Like actual roots. Like I'm a gardener, so I think in those terms. Like you just planted a seed, but you got to water it. And it's until you're at 500 members, it is not a group that stands on its own. It needs its mama. Okay, the second most important thing is getting the people who are in the group to start talking in there as soon as possible. So you got 10 people, you just launched it 5 hours ago and you got 10 people in it. You guys, we just got launched this morning and there's already 10 of us in here. What brings you guys here? What are you hoping to get from it? Do you guys know each other? Where are you? Introduce yourself. You got to make them talk from the very, very, very beginning. So those are two things you got to remember. So now you can use the launch to your advantage. It's a very active moment of a group. The reason it's so important is because no one wants to join a group that's not active. But when it was just created, people will forgive the fact that no one is in there yet. So if I go to your group and it's been there for a year and it's got 100 members, I'm thinking this group is dead. I'm just going to crowd my inbox and everything by joining this group. But if you created the group a month ago and it's got 100 members, and now you're telling me, hey, you should join. We are only at 100 right now because we just got created and it's so exciting because we're going to get, now I'm like, oh, I'm part of the cool kids that just joined. And now for the rest of the life of this group, I'm going to have this special pride of knowing I joined at the beginning. And I have people in my groups that tell me that they're like, well, I was here since the first day. And they're very proud of it now that it's this big. So take it as an advantage, be public about it. You guys, we just launched yesterday. We're growing fast. Oh my gosh, look, we're at 20 today. We launched yesterday. Those are still small numbers, but because it's new, people will get it. They will get it. And then, yeah, being new is.
Uh-oh, I think she might have frozen. Let me see.
Yeah.
I can get her back. She was so excited.
Are we all still here? Did we all go or was it just me?
Just you.
Sorry. All right, but okay. Can you guys see the screen share again? It's all good, Matt. Yeah. Can you tell me? Great. Okay.
Yep.
So, let me talk through this. That's a lot of text, but I'm just going to walk you through it. The most important thing you can do is to talk about the group. It doesn't matter where it is. A lot of times it's going to be on other Facebook groups, but you got to not be spammy. So you can just go to another group that you just joined and say, you guys, here's my new group, because that's just not cool. You're now using somebody else's efforts to your benefit. But if you're already part of a group for many years and somebody posts a question about something that is precisely what you do, you can answer in the comments like, hey, you should join this group. That's what we do in there. Some groups will be more strict than others. Make sure you follow the group rules. But that's a really good way to go about it. Some people will do it on Reddit. For me right now, I'm having an unhealthy obsession with TikTok, and I'm finding lots of random videos on TikTok of women doing handiwork. And of course, it's my group. So I'll put a comment, I'll be like, you totally belong in the Handy Women Facebook group. And it's true, they do belong in there because they're handy women. There's no other community for handy women in the world. So I just, tell them about it. I don't even put the link. I just say the name of it. Again, it's a memorable name so they can remember it in a week when, they're like away from TikTok. But yeah, talk about the group. You can, if you're a big Reddit fan, you can talk about it there. Talk about it in your profile or an email if you have an email list, wherever it makes sense for you. You know, don't overthink it, but be active about it, like multiple times a day until you get 500 members. You know, be active, active, active. Say it again, say it again, say it again. And you'll find a big, as soon as you'll say it in one Facebook group, you'll get like 20 people requesting to join, or 100 or 150, you know, not at the beginning. 100, that kind of numbers is down the line, but definitely you'll see a difference. Every time you post, people will join. Every time you don't post for 3 days, nobody will join. It's related to you, the growth at the beginning until 500 members. After 500 members, it's related to the members. So talk about the group, talk about the group, talk about the group, and don't be spammy while you do it. Now that's for the part about having people join the group. How about the part where I want you to make sure people in your group talk? We all are shy in new spaces. It's almost like in person when you go to a meetup where you know no one, or a party where you know no one, you're a little bit shy and you kind of want somebody to come talk to you. It's the same in a virtual space. So because it's a brand new space, you don't know what it does yet. You don't know what the rules are yet. There's no precedence for it because it's a new group. So you don't want to break the rules. So you're just not going to say anything. So a way to do it is celebrate every day the growth. And ask questions about the topic of what you do. So you can say, hey, what are you guys looking for in this group? Hey, so it's going to be about like healing games. Hey, what's a game? Have you ever done a game that helped you heal? What was the favorite game you've ever played? So now maybe it's not about healing, you know, for cybersecurity, like what's your favorite cybersecurity hack? Or, you know, what's something about cybersecurity that you find no one is realizing right now? That's the next most important thing they should do. Plan a question a day until you get 500 members, a question a day and a growth post a day. So the advantage about this, because it's so much work to post a question every day, but you can schedule posts in advance. So you can literally sit down, write 30 questions for 30 days and just schedule them and you're set. So you sit down, you do your list of questions, and then they go, and it engages people on a daily. And what that does is that then the people that answered a lot of your questions after a couple of days, they'll start asking questions. They'll start engaging other people. And you'll start being like, why are you asking questions? It's my group, but that's good, that's good. That's a very good thing when they start doing that. They're starting to take ownership of what's happening. So that takes us into, if you do those two things, share the group everywhere and ask a lot of questions, your group will grow right away. And once you get to 500 members, it will keep on growing. So next question, make a list of questions for your group. Just write as many as you can think about. They can be similar, make them small, make them big. How long have you been, you know, looking for healing solutions, you know, things like that. And write them all down right now. So we'll give you a couple minutes on this. And I'm gonna go to the chat and I'm gonna start answering some of you guys about the names. So when you think of questions, ask, you know, like, why something? When was the first time? When was the last time? When was the best time? When was the easiest time? When was the hardest time? Think how have you tried to solve this before? How was one time it worked for you? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? What's a good memory about? Like, you can even go on Google for a list of questions to get inspiration. Nathan, I hope that helped. Itamar, I answered your question in the chat.
Nope, I think that was to me.
What did you say, Mac?
I think that was, you sent it to me instead of Itamar.
Oh, can we copy and paste it? Yeah, there it is.
Will do.
Got it, got it.
All right, here we go. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Andrea, I have a question, follow-up question for you in the chat. All right, 30 seconds on this. All right, guys, let's get back in because we still have a little bit to go through for today. We'll have a lot more in the next weeks for further growth. So if you already have a group and strategies, but if you're not already asking questions and celebrating growth in your group, start doing it now if you already have a group. I would like to hear only from people who got really stuck with this question with the groups. Is there anyone that is like, I cannot think of questions, or I can think of 3 or 5, but that's it? Anyone got stuck on this and needed help brainstorming? No, everybody's good. So I really recommend coming up with all the questions because it's hard over time to have a long list of questions. So again, you only do that until you have about 350 to 500 members. After that, you're just going to have one question. We'll discuss that later, but one question or 2 questions a week, that's always going to be the same. So it's going to be much easier to run. The beginning is more involved. After that, it's about longevity and, you know, being consistent, but it's not as like brainstorming and doing all of that work. But these questions also really help you get to know your group in the very beginning, because your group is kind of like a person, an entity that doesn't exist yet. So you don't know what that entity is yet. So those questions help you also get to know that quote unquote person. So let's move on to a little bit of an easier part. Now I'm going to give you all the answers. When you're going to go and create your group, you're going to have to answer lots of settings. And if you don't know, you know, you could easily get stuck at what do I say for what? So I'm just going to give you the answers. You can just take a screenshot. But these are the answers. There are exceptions. They are, of course, like it's still, every group can be different, but this will fit most people. If you feel it doesn't fit you, you absolutely could be right. And that's totally okay. This is just for the majority. Privacy, I recommend you set it to private, because if it's secret, no one can find you and your business. So it defeats the purpose. Secret would be for like photos of my kids, you know, and just family members. And if it's public, it doesn't build trust in the membership. So it kind of backfires on you. Membership questions for people who request to join your group, I wouldn't recommend you do that. At the beginning, you want as many people to join. Then you can be picky. Then you can turn a lot of people down. But at the big, unless, you know, of course it makes sense. So for me, a Handy Women, we don't allow men in it. So of course we had a question that said, are you a woman? But I don't even know that I started until 500. I think I just looked at their name or looked at their profile photo to know if they were a woman or a man. Rules, use the ones that Facebook has, like the first 4, they're fantastic. You will get to know that quote unquote person that is of that entity of your group, and you will know what rules you need as you go. Your rules will change over time. They'll get more specific to the group. But at first, Facebook is great. Description, keep it simple and to the point for all of those of you that have a list of things to say it. You know, cybersecurity, we cover healing games. We help people heal all these issues. Make a list. The option for hide a group, click visible, again, because you want people to be able to find your group. They will not see what's posted in it. They'll just see the group. Location, either none or a country. If your career coaching is going to be about Americans or North America, set US or Canada. Badges, I recommend keeping Facebook suggestions. They make people feel good. And again, if you want to dive into it, you can, but this is, if you don't have time, you're a busy business owner, just go and do these. You know, these are a good place to start. Group affiliation, if you have a page for your business, this might be a good thing to put there, or a link to your business. But again, in this early stage, no need to overthink it. You can set it later. You know, some things at the beginning, just launch it, focus on growth and focus on people talking. The rest you can figure out as you go. Continuing, giving you some quick answers. For settings, manage membership, keep the suggestions Facebook gives you. Again, after 500 members, it's usually a good idea to only allow people to join and not pages, because it makes it more personal and less a place that people just use for their own businesses. And your page would still be the admin of the group if you have a page, but you don't need pages to join as members. Linked pages, you put your page there. Again, if you have a Facebook page, put it there. If you don't have one, don't worry about it, forget about it. Recommended groups. Now, that is the one thing that people skip over that is actually important. So recommended groups. That is a fantastic way for the Facebook algorithm to suggest your groups to members of similar groups. So at Handy Women, I have similar groups that are lady landlords, women repair zone, anything like that, or like DIY for women, or just DIY groups like that. And it turns out we get recommended in these groups all the time. People join our groups because Facebook recommended us because they are in those other groups. So that's actually really, really, really helpful. And the more groups you put, the better, but you have to be a member of those groups to recommend them. You cannot recommend a group you are not a part of. So just so you know, on a personal level. The banner, the big visual at the top, I recommend doing it on Canva simply because you can click a button that says Facebook banner and it will immediately be the right size. But if you want to get fancy, here's the right size right here, 828 times 315. Put a clear visual of the group. You know, don't just put the title, put the title, a clear visual. Make sure there's a title, not just a visual plus title. And if you have something like Ray did, that's like, I help, blah, 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 do blah, 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 put it under there in Canva. There's the room on that banner for all of that. That's also a good place to put the link to your business in the actual banner. And people will change the banner over time, so you may not be sure how you want to use it yet, so you can just change it later. But kind of pick, if you have a logo, put it on there right away. So try to pick something that you can stick with and you can adjust as needed, but that's going to remain in that realm of colors. You want it to match the tone as well. So if your tone is going to be, you know, fun, you want the colors to be fun, the fonts to be fun. If it's going to be serious, you kind of want it to be serious. So that's for the banner. And now we're at Q&A. So like I said, I also do consulting, like free consulting calls. So if some of you are like, ooh, I'm really interested in this, is a great way to grow my business, feel free to contact me. I've been doing the community building for 12 years while I was a musician. So this is something I've done for a long time. So yes, Q&A. What questions do you guys have? This is the end of the presentation. So if you guys have to go, I know it's been an hour, but I'm going to stay for those of you that have questions because I love it. I love that stuff. So shoot away, friends.
Feel free to unmute.
Can I? Hi. Hi, Mac. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you, Geraldine.
My pleasure.
For being here. I wonder, what's your objective? What's your perspective on having groups that are more into casual, funny stuff, like all the meme style groups, as opposed to more informative ones? Because I know that obviously humor is a big advantage.
So first of all, like when I say I'm a community builder, I do it for purposes that are personal sometimes too. So I go into a town and I create a group that's just for me to meet new friends. And it happens really fast because I'm so good at creating groups. It's like, boom, and now I have new friends in a week. This is very helpful. So if you want, the reason I say that is if you want to have a group because you love memes and you think memes are fun and you just want memes on this topic for personal reason, by all means do it. Now, if your goal is as a business owner, I have a friend of mine who actually has his entire business is happening through memes, where he does it on Instagram, but he has about 300,000 followers of his memes. I don't even know that they know his face. And he sells products that are related to the meme, so kind of goofy, silly shirts and things like that. And he sells them on there, and he does fantastic, and that's his entire thing. So I would say, make sure you know what purpose it's for on a business level or personal level, and what's your strategy. But people love memes. It works really well. People are successful with it. So absolutely.
So I guess dating specifically, I have an app, so I want to promote it, but obviously implicitly, and make it fun, maybe get members, and then kind of promote, in my case, in-person dates, because this is what we provide.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all the kind of memes. So you're going to get a certain type of people that are interested in memes that are going to be dating. So it's like now it's dating for people that are interested in memes, that have that kind of humor, which not all people have, right? So it depends on how narrow you want your customers to be. It could be the angle of your dating app. It's like, it's dating app for fun people. It's dating app for people that don't take life too seriously. And that's, it can be the thing. But if that's not the thing, if your thing, because you're the one that had the post-COVID dating, right? Yeah. So if your business is more of a post-COVID, then maybe actually memes can be allowed in the group, but maybe it's not the main meat of the group. Maybe you have a weekly post that's meme Mondays. Every Mondays we post fun memes in this thread. So it's contained, there's a space for it, but it's not what happens all the time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Leslie had a question, Geraldine. I think she found another group called Healing Games. So she's wondering, is there a conflict there?
Yeah, well, what? And
Well,
that's
it's called the Healing Games. So am I allowed to just have healing games?
What are they? You're allowed, yes, but is it to your benefit? I don't know yet. What do they do?
Oh boy.
See, you guys, that's why it's important to have a clear title. Healing, this is perfect. That is what I talk about.
Okay, so the Healing Games, health and beauty.
So that's confusing.
Yeah, it doesn't. They have some keep fighting, working on a docuseries.
And they don't have many members, do they?
No.
Yeah, because they're not very clear. So I would make it really part of your title then. Healing games for, is there a term that covers all the different things for not troubled people? Obviously that's
No. I mean, I had like emotional rescue, healing emotional rescue game, but I think that's too many words. I've been playing around, DIY therapy, do it yourself. I mean, my games.
Wait, DIY therapy?
Yeah, do you like that?
I mean, if it matches what you offer.
Yeah, my games are used by hundreds of thousands of people peer to peer. So if they're built so people.
Wait, search no more. That is the title. DIY therapy. I'm in. I don't care if I need it or not. I will do it. Oh, that's it.
Okay, let me make sure there isn't a group for that.
This is brilliant. This is so fun because then we get it's a game. DIY therapy. That is so fun. And like we want to know more, so we want to join the group just so we know what the heck it is.
There's DIY alternative therapy.
Yeah, that's a boring title.
What about, do you have to do DIY therapy games? Would the games be important?
I might need to. This says DIY massage therapies.
No, how many? Yeah, play with it. I mean, sometimes at the end of the day, there's not a perfect answer, but DIY therapy is fun. DIY therapy for people.
There's nothing that's specifically DIY therapy. I mean, there's
well, look at how big they are. If they're not big, go for DIY therapy. If they are
the alternative therapy is 7,000, but it's about skincare.
Yeah, David, go into the chat. That David had a good follow-up question for you, but yeah, keep playing with it because we'll be back next week. We'll keep looking. Do research.
I'll be back too, but I'll reach out to you as well.
Yeah, let it sit in as well, because sitting in with that stuff is also helpful sometimes with creativity. All of a sudden you start having random ideas show up in overnight. So but keep playing because I like DIY therapy. It's already fun.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yeah, you're so welcome. Anyone else has any other questions?
Nathan had dropped in the chat. He said, how do you handle members who post a ton about events that are for the
Yes.
same company?
So
That's all.
Nathan, we are going to talk about members a lot in the next session. The quick answer is with the rules. And the quick answer is you have to be strict with the rules, and you will always have people mad at you for, following the rules and telling them to follow the rules. And you will sometimes have to kick people out because they don't follow the rules. And it is never easy for any admin or group leader. It's just always like, why does it have to be so hard? But that is part of it, and the majority of people are fine. And the harder, like the stricter you are with the rules, the more people love your group, because it's a safe space. And people will say, I see it all the time in my groups. People say, this is my favorite group. I love this group. And that's why. But that's a little bit of the other side of the coin. So I'm sorry this is happening, Nathan, but I would just do a rule that says no ads and self-promotion. Or I have a group, different groups need different rules, but I have a group that says no abusing of ads. So in other words, they could post once, but not a million times, so that's another way, depending on the group. Do you publicly enforce the rules? Nathan, I will really talk about that a lot next week. I really will, but the quick answer is the first time, yes. And after that, no. It depends. It depends on the group. Every group has a different personality. So think of people in your life, Are you always dealing with the same issue the same way with every person in your life, or do you change to adjust? And it's the same with groups. If you have different groups, they each have a different personality. Any other questions?
I have a question. Thank you for your idea. But I think when I start my business to find customers, they are not aware of the problem they are going to have in the future. Mm-hmm. So do you think it's good to have a name of the Facebook group should have the name of it, like the retirement, because they are not aware because they're just young. So this is why I'm struggling finding a name.
Yes, that is such a common issue. Isn't that awful how people don't know the issues they have? Yeah. I would either, if they all have the same name, the same age or the same generation, call it by that. Okay. And see what benefit they would have out of it. Are you the person that asked about the financial and retirement?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually follow groups for financial coaching because I just love that niche. And that is a common thing. Yeah, that part of their jobs as financial coaches is they have to explain to people that spending money they don't have on a financial coach will help them financially. So that's, I think, those groups will help you. But a lot of time it's more, they're going to gear it to solving different issues. And it will include more current issues like, be ready to, because you're talking for women, be ready to buy a home and plan your wedding and maybe have a baby, and retirement is part of the things you help them. But, I think they're just first focus on, what do you think your problem is? What is it you want a solution for? And then as you work with them, you take them to further goals like retirement. But, just on a personal level, I was going to do a financial planning for musicians. And I talked to 50 musicians asking about that. And what I realized is that a lot of musicians that don't make money think it's because musicians get jobs because they know people and not because they're good, and they think they just don't have luck. So they don't think they have a financial issue. They just think they just didn't get the break they deserve. And so I ended up not launching this program for that reason, because people didn't think they had a financial issue.
Yeah, but that just something came to my mind. You mentioned before, I did a survey and loads of us, they mentioned that they are scared to invest. So would be this one possibility to start a fearless investing?
Yes, investing for millennials. Investing for millennials, that's fantastic. Yeah, because right now it's very trendy. It's very trendy right now. If you target, particularly if you start using TikTok ads, which not many people are right now, it's a big topic on TikTok. Everybody's investing right now. Everybody wants to be a day trader, and everybody's reading everything about it. So it's very trendy. And then, so you catch them on the stock learning, then you get them to what it is to actually invest rather than trade. And then you get them on, hey, long-term retirement plan. Yeah, without using the word retirement. That's a great idea. You're so welcome. Yeah. Investing for millennials. That would be a great group right there.
Totally.
Great.
But do you think they know that they are millennials? I have a different issue as well, because the group will be in German and not in English.
Mhm.
So I need to figure out like how I can combine this, because I don't think they're using that search term millennials. So
You can do investing for women, investing for young women professionals, find the best term for your language. Yeah.
perfect. Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Suzanne says housing for New York newbies. I think I missed that whole conversation.
What do you
Not sure.
think that would be a good title or not? I guess not.
I think we're close. I would first-time buyers, first-time New York buyers. But also the question with New York, and that's just because I used to live in New York City, is like, are we looking at New York City or are we looking at New York
We're
State?
looking at New York City. I'm in Bushwick, but I don't want to limit myself. You can go anywhere. I'm afraid to be too specific.
First-time New York City buyers. That's great, because then you're going to become the expert. Because it's like, you can run things, you can run Facebook Lives. Like, hey, I'm going to take all your questions about first-time buying in New York City. What questions you have? You can do that weekly or monthly, and then you're the expert. That's great. I love that. And we have lots of questions about that,
Yeah. So
like, hey, let me tell you about these things you don't know. Let me tell you about how you can use this program, whatever it's called, like HV or, the cheaper HAC. I always forget that name, but, here's if you make less than that, you can actually have this program. Did you know about this? And you can be the person showing them all these different things. I love that. I forget what I said, but I loved what I said.
NYC buyers, first time New York buyers, New York City buyers.
I would do NYC, because as any New Yorker will wonder if you're talking, because particularly right now, everybody moved to New York State for real estate. Everybody moved out of New York City. So in this current COVID time, to say New York City is very important.
And not the just the NYC.
You can put NYC. Yeah.
NYC.
Yeah.
First time NYC
First-
buyer.
I love it. That's so good.
Good.
Hell,
Thank
I
you.
would have joined that group a couple years ago. Great. Anyone else? So next week, we're going to be talking about a lot of the growth. And now we're going to be talking about rules. We're going to be talking about actually community building. Right now, we just talked about bringing people in, but now we have people in there. What do we do? How do we make it community? So we'll talk about that. It'll be as jam-packed as today. And the session after that will be about money and all the different ways. And there's so many different ways and how to do it ethically. And the fourth time will be Q&A and also show and tell. So if you're building groups now, then you can have every week ask me how it's going and things you can do differently or all of that. And, in 4 weeks, you could literally start having a group that has 200 to 500 members. So in 4 weeks, we could be looking at you guys that didn't have a group today that now have a group that has traction. So if you want to make it a little bit of your accountability is that fourth group and having 500 members by then, yep, I can be there along with the